the Sinister Six have arrived in the MCU. We all know it by now. The No Way Home trailer is old enough that we can discuss it. But what I really want to discuss is who are the Sinister Six. And also I want to get into who that sixth member could be in the MCU. Welcome to the Superior Comic Show. I'm your host Peter, and today we're going to be talking about the history of the Sinister Six and who the sixth live action member could be. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of the videos. Posting a lot more content lately. Anyway, you don't want to hear that. Let's get into the video. So the Sinister Six debuted in Marvel Comics in Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1 in 1964. Now, they were started by Doctor Octopus. After he broke out of prison, he rang up all of Spider-Man's villains and tried to put together a team. Eventually, he got callbacks from the original members: Vulture, Electro, Kraven, Mysterio, and Sandman. So why did I forget Sandman? Yeah, the other villains didn't want to give up the honor or the ego boost of beating Spider-Man on their own. So this team joined forces, but stupidly went to Spider-Man and decided to do it kind of gauntlet style and go at him 1v1. Didn't work out. Spider-Man beat them and actually mocked Octavius about the stupid idea to challenge him 1v1 when there's 6 of them. To which, as history went on, you see the Sinister Six have given Spider-Man a lot of trouble and turned him into an underdog in every fight they're in. So that is the history of the Sinister Six. That's where they started and that's how they built. Now, these weren't always just the same members. There was other members over the years. These other members included, of course, Hob Goblin, Scorpion, Rhino, among others, and yes, even Venom. Now, Venom can take Spider-Man almost on his own and cause them so much trouble down the years, so imagine what he was like as part of the Sinister Six going up against Spidey. So yeah, the Sinister Six has had a whole host of members over the years. And the big thing about it was Spider-Man was always the underdog, but this is what made him so impressive. He always came out and won. And this is where I think they could go wrong if they bring Tobey and Andrew into the MCU with Tom. Because the whole thing about Spider-Man is he has always been able to beat the Sinister Six on his own, even though he's an underdog. But I think if we bring Tobey and Andrew in to help Tom, it diminishes the ability of all 3 of their Spider-Men. So speaking of live action, let's talk about the live action Sinister Six. Now, a live action Sinister Six isn't a new concept. There were rumours Sony was building their own Sinister Six movie not too long ago, and also in the post-credit scene of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, we got a tease of the Vulture and Ox tech, which never came to fruition due to Amazing Spider-Man 2 being critically destroyed. And honestly, I think it was uncalled for. Yes, the movie wasn't amazing, pun, but you know, I mean, it had its moments. So after all this teasing and hemming and hawing for years, Sony and Marvel clearly come to an agreement, and we're finally getting the Sinister Six in the MCU with Tom Holland's Spider-Man in No Way Home. So far, our confirmed members are Otto Octavius, Jamie Foxx's Electro, definitely seeing Willem Dafoe's Goblin Bomb and heard his laugh. It looked like the Lizard that started the trailer, and clearly Sandman is in there too. So I'm no mathematician, but by my count, that only makes 5. So the question is, who is the 6th? Now, if they had gone with the comic route of the original roster, it would have been easy for us to pick out which member was missing. Then that'd be easy to pick out the 6th. But they've gone with completely different members here, like Green Goblin and Lizard, who aren't typically members of the Sinister Six. We 3 OGs in Otto, who is always the leader, Sandman, and Electro. So who could be that 6th now? Because they could really take from anyone. I have some theories of who that 6th member could be. Bear with me. My first candidate would be Adrian Tombs. Now, the Vulture is locked up, as far as we know, but he's not dead. He's still around, and he is an OG member of the Sinister Six. So he'd be an obvious one, right? but how would they explain him getting out of prison? Now, I know we did see him in post-credit scene in Venom. So, is it a multiversal thing? Is this a multiversal Adrian Tombs, or has he broken out? But either way, I do think he's one of the more likely options for the sixth member, but there are others. Now this one would be a little harder to swing and explain, but something about Mysterio's death in Far From Home was a bit sus. I don't think he's dead, and even if he is, I think there's still a possibility of Mysterio from the multiverse coming in, because Mysterio as well was a founding member of the Sinister Six. So I think you definitely need to have him somewhere there. Could be wrong, but I think him and Vulture are the two most likely options of who the sixth member is. Now there was also this part of the post-credit scene in Homecoming that still has not come to fruition yet, where we met Matt Gargan, aka Scorpion. We still haven't seen anything else of him yet since that post-credit scene, but Marvel don't usually do things without a plan. So there could be a very big possibility that he could be the sixth member of the Sinister Six, considering he has been a member before. He has joined forces with them. I would be very, very interested to see if Matt Gargan finally comes into it and we finally get some sort of payoff from that Homecoming post-credit scene. Of course, there's also the possibility of Venom coming in and being in. A lot of people were speculating, where I'm 99% sure it was the Lizard in the trailer. Some people speculate it could be Venom. Sony have been trying to push since Venom 1 that the Venomverse and the MCU Spider-Verse are connected. So we will see them show up and we will see them on screen together. So this could be their way of tying it all in together, make it a multiversal thing and easier to explain. So Venom could. I don't think it's likely Venom will, seeing as he has his own movie coming out a month before No Way Home. I don't think Venom and Spider-Man are going to cross over just yet. Now onto the two ones I find quite interesting and could be a serious possibility of being in the Sinister Six in the MCU. But first we have Trevor, I used you in one video. Fuck off. Some people. Aaron Taylor Johnson, cast as playing Kraven in Sony's upcoming Kraven the Hunter movie. Kraven was a founding member of the Sinister Six and one of Spider-Man's biggest enemies. Could they introduce him first in No Way Home? It would be a smart thing to do. It would build a lot of interest for the Kraven solo movie and be a great form of marketing at the MCU's expense. I don't think it will happen, but I think it could definitely be interesting if we see Aaron Taylor Johnson show up as Kraven in this movie. Now on to a theory that I really love and I really do hope it comes true. Ned. Ned could be the final member of the Sinister Six. In the comics, Ned Leeds becomes the Hob Goblin. I think it could be great if we meet a multiversal version of Ned who did become the Hob Goblin, or even something might happen that will force Ned to become the Hob Goblin and fight Peter. So that you might think this might be a bit far-fetched, but my boy Jacob Batalon has been getting ripped. He has lost a tremendous amount of weight, and this could be just for himself looking to get healthier, but Hobgoblin? Who knows? I'd love to see it. But anyway, yeah, those are my picks for who could possibly be the sixth member of the Sinister Six in the MCU. And also just a little bit of history on the Sinister Six from the comics for anyone watching who wasn't aware. Let me know down in the comments who you think the sixth member of the Sinister Six is going to be. And also let me know who your favourite ever member of the Sinister Six was. So yeah, if you haven't read the comics and you enjoyed that piece of history from the comics, a little bit of information, don't forget to give me a like, let me know I've done well. If you are a fan of both comics and movies and you knew all this and you like my theories on who the Sinister Six could be, drop a subscribe, drop a like, let's be friends. So yeah, anyway, I've been Peter, this has been the Superior Comic Show. Thanks for watching and have a superior week.